Hello, everybody. Welcome. Have you ever been in a situation where you were really worried about an animal, say a pet, a cat that didn't come home, or a dog that had run off, but you didn't really tell anyone that you were really worried because you thought, well, maybe it looks weak, or they don't understand, and then, or it was a wild animal and you really wanted to help, but somebody said, oh, well, there's nothing you could do about it. You just have to lie. Oh, that's nature. And you went off, and afterwards you really beat yourself up that you didn't help that animals. Well, you're not alone. At first I thought I was the only one, but then I saw other people kind of hiding in plain sight as well. And I saw how it affected some of them. A friend of mine, she was really quite traumatized because she worked for the RSPCA for a while, and she was way more withdrawn already than I was a little bit later. And I saw how she kept being bullied much more than me, although we both cared about animals. So I was kind of protecting her for a while. And then I got really, really worried about her because she was getting suicidal and she was withdrawing more and more. And I haven't heard from her for years now. So I don't know what happened. And I saw it in other people too. A lot of times we try to fit into society, and society a lot of times doesn't understand why we care so much. So in order not to be ridiculed or in order not to look weak, we pretend not to care. And at first I thought it was just me. But then I looked at people and I saw the little clues, the little signs, people who were working for animal organizations who said that they liked animals but not people. But they were really nice people. When people who don't like animals leave the room, then suddenly these groups form where people say, oh yeah, I was that worried too. But it always feels a little bit weak. But there's no weakness about caring. There's no weakness about showing that you care. Everybody's caring for their family, right? They're showing that they're caring. That is not considered a weakness. Well, animals are our family. But that doesn't change the problem that sometimes we become the target of bullying because we do care for our animals. And that is why we a lot of times withdraw. So what do you do about it? Well, I was withdrawing as well. I helped her for a while, but then I got it in a different situation. I was withdrawing as well, but it was okay because I had my little castle and I could keep everybody out. It's not a real castle, but a house with a garden, with a fence around it and everything. But that didn't really solve the problem, and I was becoming withdrawn more and more myself, and I did realize it, but I didn't know what to do about it. And then suddenly my castle went away because there was Brexit. I was losing the house. I had to sell it. And then I didn't have anywhere to go yet because I was leaving the UK. And I was ending up in a caravan, just looking where I wanted to go next. And I had some animals that I needed to protect. And suddenly there was no castle anymore. So I looked around for other ways to do this. And I looked what other nature lovers were doing, and those who were not hiding and were not withdrawing and were not being victimized in a way were a lot of times just really aggressive. Because that kind of keeps people at bay, but it's not a sustainable solution, and it's not very pleasant, even for yourself either. You can become aggressive for a while, and that is the first thing that you try to do, which is what other people do too. If somebody attacks their family, they become aggressive, and everybody understands. But if your family is animals, people don't understand that much. So I looked for something else, and then I finally found something. And it was something completely, it had nothing to do with the animal world. I saw it in a completely different context. And I thought, okay, I've just seen this and it works in that context. Maybe this works as well. And I tried it out on the tour. And it worked like a charm. I went to, I don't know how many campgrounds on the way. I didn't actually want to go to that many campgrounds. I had planned on there being a tour for like 2 months and touring around a bit and then finding a new home again. But then there was COVID and suddenly I was shut in, and then I rescued some animals and I had to give them vaccinations and had to wait until they could be vaccinated. Then I had to wait until the vaccinations were taken, and only then I could go over the border and so on and so forth. So it took much, much longer than I thought. But there was not a single conflict, not a single real conflict on the way, because of that one technique that I found. And then I found a few others as well to deal with some of the things that had happened in the past, some other really incredibly helpful things to deal with your internal world, and I wanted to pass this on. So is it free? No, but there's a reason for it. We do want to spend at least 50% of what comes in for a win-win center, and you can look at the website and it's described a little bit there. It's our dream to put this in place, but also if you don't pay for it, you will probably not use it, because some of the techniques, they may be a little bit uncomfortable because they don't feel like the normal thing you would do, right? And if you don't pay for something, you look at it and you think, oh yeah, maybe it works, but you don't do anything. If you actually paid for it, then you think, okay, I paid money for this course, so I better try it out. And that is what we want. We don't want you to just buy the course and, we've got the money and that's fine. We want you to actually benefit from it. There's a 14-day money-back guarantee. You have no risk whatsoever. So please do join us inside, and I look forward to meeting you sometime in the future. Click the button below. Or up there, or up there. Not entirely sure where it is right now, but please do join us. And I promise you, you will not regret it. My name is Petra Lohmeyer, and I look forward to seeing you inside.